Let's dive right in. UAE's e-invoicing really stands out because of its five-corner model. It's not just seller and buyer. It ropes in service providers and even the authorities directly. Have you had a chance to look into how this framework works?
Honestly, it's pretty fascinating. The service provider acts like a gatekeeper, validating every data field in an e-invoice based on a detailed UAE data dictionary before sending it off through the Peppol Network. Then, the tax fields in particular go straight to the tax authorities, the FTA. It's a double-layered approach: first exchange, then reporting.
And I like that the validation happens up front. It helps reduce errors going downstream. But speaking of service providers, businesses can't just pick any tech vendor they need to partner with accredited service providers. That adds a whole layer of compliance, right?
Exactly, and it means businesses really have to get their house in order, from making sure their internal data aligns with the official data dictionary to setting up that integration with the service provider. The process is designed to be robust, but it puts the onus on companies to stay compliant from the get-go.
That actually reminds me, VAT groups add some extra complexity. Each group member needs its own endpoint with an accredited service provider, even though they all share the group's TRN when invoicing. Why do you think that distinction exists?
It probably helps pinpoint which entity actually performed the transaction. So you might have 5 companies under one VAT group, but if only one sells something, the invoice has to show that members' details, even if the tax number is shared. It really ties back into traceability and auditability.
Makes sense. And when it comes to sending the invoice, the buyer's electronic address is crucial. The Peppol Network depends on that endpoint to deliver the document directly. It's not just about having the invoice, it's about getting it to the right digital doorstep.
Right, and for overseas customers, if they're not on the Peppol network, you end up providing a dummy endpoint and then sending the invoice outside the network, like via email. The regulatory reporting still happens, but the actual exchange shifts channels.
Last week we got stuck on error handling with e-invoicing. If the service provider spots an issue, the invoice gets kicked back to the issuer for correction. But what's the proper fix? Just resubmit? Or is a credit note required?
For any tax-related error, a credit note is the official path to rectification. You can't just cancel or delete an invoice. This way, the system maintains a full audit trail for each correction. And the whole integration is near real-time, so corrections and reporting happen fast.
That real-time aspect is huge for businesses. No more waiting days for errors to surface. But it also means companies need their invoicing data spot on. There are about 50 mandatory fields in the e-invoice. Do businesses have any flexibility with filling those in?
All mandatory fields have to be provided, but how you get that info into the system depends on your arrangement with your service provider. Some fields might be manual, others automated. The big thing is that nothing gets skipped. Every field serves a compliance purpose.
Funny you say that. I've heard a lot of businesses asking about when e-invoicing will actually go live. The official rollout isn't until July 2026, but there are pilot programs you can join now if you're ready. Do you think most companies will opt in early or wait until it's mandatory?
Honestly, a lot will probably hold off until the last moment. Change is always a bit daunting. But the phased rollout means businesses can onboard gradually. There'll be a testing phase before things go live, so everyone has a chance to iron out the kinks, especially with integration hiccups or data mismatches.
That transition period is a bit of a balancing act, though. During the grace period, some invoices could be traditional and others electronic. It'll be crucial for both buyers and suppliers to keep records straight, especially when it comes to input tax credits.
Absolutely, and once full onboarding hits, e-invoicing becomes the only way forward. So getting comfortable with the process now could save a lot of headaches down the line.
I've had something like that happen too, especially with clients who aren't VAT registered. The rules say all B2B and B2G transactions are included, whether or not a business is VAT registered. But retail B2C is out for now, unless you work something out privately with your service provider.
Yeah, and the definition of a business under corporate tax is all about that tax identification number. Non-VAT businesses still get a TIN, and that's what goes into the invoice. It's all about creating a consistent identifier across the system.
And when it comes to edge cases like self-billing, cross-border trades, or sole establishments, the system's flexible but also careful not to impose standards on foreign vendors. Self-billing is totally in if everyone's in the UAE, but not if the supplier is overseas.
That's true, and even for import invoices, if the foreign supplier's Peppol compliant, you can use the network for delivery, but reporting isn't mandatory for those cases. It feels like the system is built to be thorough, but not overbearing.
As we wrap up, it seems like the next big focus is prepping for compliance and making sure the tech is ready. APIs, web interfaces, even SFTP in some cases. The connection points between businesses and service providers are flexible, but C2 to C3 and C2 to C5 are tightly regulated via Peppol AS4.
Exactly. And businesses don't have to interact directly with the Peppol authority in the UAE. Their accredited service provider handles that. But they do need to make sure their invoicing software integrates smoothly and that all their data lines up with the official requirements.
So, the best advice right now is start reviewing transaction data, understand the data dictionary, and keep an eye out for the official list of accredited service providers. Early prep could make all the difference when July 2026 rolls around.
Couldn't agree more. The more proactive you are, the easier the transition will be, especially since UAE e-invoicing isn't just a tech change, but a new way of thinking about business processes and compliance. It's a big leap, but one that sets the stage for more transparency and efficiency.